Hello, people. Welcome back to another cook-up session. So, let's get right into it. I have a melody over here that I got from a sample pack, West Coast Bay Area sample pack, and I loaded it into Silk's preset called Silk Split from Analog Lab. And here's how it sounds. So I think we already have an idea of what we want to do with this beat. Let's start off by adding a nice sounding kick and then draw in a pattern, or maybe use an existing pattern from the sample pack, something like this. Alright, so I think it's starting to shape up a little bit. Let's have some hi-hats in there. And I like to use this really cool hi-hat sound from the sample pack. Something needs to be fixed here. I think we're gonna repeat the same thing again. So I have an interesting idea. The idea is that we want to use the same chord or melody that we have, but we want to use a different instrument. So we could try a different, maybe a different instrument, like some synth pads perhaps, some voices and strings. Let's try something like that. See how that sounds. I just went with a wind ensemble and I just pitched it up one semitone, and this is how it sounds. for those 808s. Let's see what we could do with the 808s. So if we get something that sounds maybe that. Let's try this one. So let's see if we can draw in a pattern that works with the melody that we have. Dun, dun, dun. Go into something here. We'll go to this note over here. Let's make sure that we got everything showing. So all notes there. One, two, three. So up here. Somewhere up here maybe. Let's hear how that sounds when it's pitched down. Just want to make sure that we right click and select cut itself. Sound better. This one goes up here. We just have to mix this properly now. Some flavor here would be better, so that this one should be down here. I like to do the general kind of thing where I cut off the low ends and boost the high ends a little bit on the main synth or main keys. Sometimes I like to do something where I like to make it in stereo because it kind of floats all over the place and sounds more dynamic that way. Same thing for the wind instrument that we have here, the wind ensemble. I like to boost the high ends a little bit. Now for the 808s, I like to get a bit creative with the 808s. I'd like to start off with some EQing, obviously. Just cutting off a tiny fraction of the low end, nothing too big, and then adding some compression. I like to use OTT for that. So yeah, OTT. I like to turn the depth all the way down and just slightly turn up the high end, mid-range and low end knobs. Gives it a boost to the 808. Then to spice it up a little bit more, I like to add another plugin such as the Fruity Dist. So the Fruity Fast Dist distortion. So it's a good plugin for distortion. And then I like to use a preset called Some Oomph. It does actually do as it says, so it just gives it a little bit of oomph. So it traces through the mix a little bit more. So now we got everything down, right? So we can go ahead and, up till now we got the keys, the wind ensemble, at least two instruments that complement each other, and then we got the 808s. Then we can go ahead and add the kick. So this is where you can get a bit more creative in the mix. Add some kick, and obviously we have the hats. We are missing the snares, which we will add now in a bit. But let's go ahead and add the snare. And for the snare, you could use some great sounds, like in this sample pack, for instance. There's a really good snare sound that I like to use. This one. And then we can have a nice kind of pattern there going on. Something like maybe this. Snare pattern, and so I'll just do it each 4 steps like that. Let's do it every 8 steps like that. Put it somewhere. Oops. Make sure we get that right. let's try adding a clap instead of a snare. Let's try something like that. Those instruments. So you got the kick over here. Just move the hats to the end and the snare second after the kick. Kick first, snare second. Have a hat third, or actually just the clap. The snares and the clap could complement each other actually. I'll go ahead and do something with the kick, right? I like to add a bit of a punch, so I do a bit of EQing. And then obviously we add some compression, so add some sound goodizer, and I like to do the same thing for the snare. I just like to boost the high end a little bit for the snare and add a little bit of a boost to the sound as well. For that I like to use Vitamin, so Vitamin Stereo by Waves has a good preset for boosting the snare and the kick as well, but it works really well on the snare, and it's called, I believe, the enhanced snare. That's the good preset. I love using that. Now obviously, like, the snare pattern needs to change, so we can try different patterns, see something that works, or just draw in something that works. So we can make it match the clap as well sometimes. The snare might benefit from sound goodizer. I think it would be cool to actually change the snare sound to something more like this. Cool here. We added some a bit of a kind of enhanced boost to the snare, right? And then the clap, we put it in stereo, so when you hear the snare with the clap, we need to go ahead and see if we can boost the clap as well a little bit. And the clap does sound good. Let's see if we can find something else that works. That sounds good. So we could just leave that in stereo and then have the snare as well. Yeah, that sounds great. You have to create a little bit of movement with the hats. So with the hats, what I like to do is I like that Pan-Man creates a lot of movement. It's a great plugin for getting a dynamic, like a stereo sound on the different instruments, like especially when you're working with the drums and the hats in particular. You can have something like the wiper panel. That's one of the presets that I like using, where I set the width all the way to the end, right? And actually there is a better one, the hard bounce. I think it was the one that I liked using the most, is hard bounce MIDI. That one, where I like to set the smoothing all the way up and the width all the way up, just like that. However, I like to slow it down just a little bit by 1 bar or something like that. And if you listen to that now, the high, you hear the hats moving left and right. It's perfect for creating movement. Now let's listen to the whole thing again. Just like that, we made a beat. And another trick that I like to do is I like to create a loop out of that. So obviously, if you want, you can get more creative. You can go ahead and export this as a WAV file, right? Just create a new folder here. I think I have already set a folder here somewhere. We'll just create a new folder and call it maybe new beat 2024. Just like that. Save, and then here's what I like to do. Make sure you select split mixer tracks and have everything ticked here as shown. Then just export the entire thing, right? If you could create your own loops and send them to another producer so that they could use it and stuff like that. So let me just go to the newly exported location. So as you can see, I have let's get that one out of the way. As you can see, I have all of the different stems now, and I just created, so this is the full loop. Oops, not that one, this one. And then you could even send the different stems to the producer as well, so you'd have like 808s. there's another thing that I actually wanted to show you. I do have the kick. Actually, I forgot to do something. Basically, the kick was not done correctly, but the idea is that basically it has to follow the 808 pattern. So now I got the kick pattern done correctly, right? What I forgot to do actually was I wanted to show you how to get that kick to pierce through, because as you can hear, oops, sorry about that, the window's open and I live right next to a highway, so what I wanted to show you was basically how to get the kick to pierce through the mix. And to do that, what you do is basically have a side chaining done. So the way that I like to side chain the kick to the bass is I would just find the kick channel in the mixer preset, and the kick channel in the mixer, the mixer channel. Sorry, I don't know, my mind just went blank for a second. Kick. So you've got the kick. You got the kick over here and the 808s here. So what you do is you basically find where the kick is in your mixer channel, and then right click on where the 808s are, and then you'd route the kick to the 808s just like that. Then in the 808s you're going to load a plugin such as Kickstart 2, which is perfect for the technique that I'm going to show you, and you're going to make sure you go to the settings over here and then processing and select set the side chain to kick, and then go back, select audio, click band, and then watch the kick and watch the magic happen. Here's what happens now. You see now the kick is piercing through even more. And when you this meter over here, the more the 808s they duck. This is messing with basically the level of ducking basically. So if you move it all the way to the highest, every time the kick hits, right, the kick plays, the 808's gonna duck even higher. Basically giving space for the kick to sort of like take the place of the 808. So if you just move it all the way to the end and listen to the track again. And yeah, that's basically it. That was just my final tip. I hope you benefited from this, and I will see you in the next session. Peace out.